always say that I got into it on accident because it was never my intention to be in music in Korea. It didn't even occur to me as an option. My parents were very supportive. They were worried, I think, that I would decide to stay here. Especially my mom. He's always like, when are you coming home? When are you coming home?
I've got a garden in my head. The wildflowers are overgrown. No one told me how to tend it. Or how it
많이 매울 것 같아요.
The flowers grow down my throat, make it hard to speak my mind. There's so much I
그래서
want to
맛있겠다.
say.
이거 재울 거야. 내가 오다가 쓰면 세나.
Petals in a kiss. I'm overwhelmed how to contain it. Seeds in my veins, pollen on my tongue. Strange perfume poisons whoever comes close enough to touch. To touch. I'm overwhelmed how to contain it. Seeds in my veins, pollen on my tongue. Strange perfume poisons whoever comes close enough to touch. To touch.
I was scared of everything when I was growing up. I think my parents were a little bit overprotective when I was younger. In high school, I wanted to be in a band. There were auditions and things for bands going on in my town, but no one wants a singer in their band that is shy and self-conscious, you know. This is where I went to high school. I really miss driving. I like the feeling that you can go anywhere at any time. Just sort of feels like a sense of freedom. Some people feel very comfortable in a small town. I don't know what the reason is, but for me, I always felt like I want to, do something different. The big city was really exciting. It was exciting to be in a new place that I'd never been before. Yeah. Okay. So down for anything. Yeah. At that time in my life, I was just trying everything. So every time I would meet someone, I sort of was looking at it as an opportunity of, oh, I can try something here and see if this is what I'm good at. I had gone to 노래방 with some people that I worked with, and a person then heard my voice and said, oh wow, you have a really nice voice. Have you ever thought about, singing? And I was like, well, it's something I'm interested in, but I don't know, I don't know about that. They were like, I want to introduce you to some producers and see if maybe you want to record something. I ended up doing a song with the singer Oh Hyuk, and we just met like at a gogi restaurant. He contacted me a few months later and asked me if I would be interested in featuring on the tribute song. And it was like, well, of course. Duh. Why are you calling me?
Yeah. I want to live in the countryside. I don't see green every day. I just found it easier to meet people like that here.
I do think that's
I feel like in California it's, just
accessible.
yeah, more accessible.
In America, it feels like very like beyond this gate.
Yeah, in America it's like, oh, they are in California, but they're in LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it was very freeing coming to a country where nobody knows me, I guess. I was walking the streets of Hongdae and there were people busking, and then I just ended up joining them and we were just singing together all night. Even now, my mom is like, when are you coming back? Come back. My sisters are like, are you gonna come back? When are you gonna come back? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Only there were pasta on this
I
bench.
want to go MT. Do you know what that is?
Yes, me too. Let's go. Yeah, I think it's funny because our families kind of have to just rely on what we tell them about what we're doing. So my parents might have a slightly over-romanticized idea of what I'm doing. Because they don't hear about, I don't tell them any of the bad stuff. I just tell them about the good stuff. And then they're like, wow, everything's going great.
Sometimes I don't tell them the good stuff either.
Really?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
I do like the rain. Feels really calming, like kind of white noise. When I think about wanting to go home or feeling homesick, I've never really felt homesick in the sense of I miss the place or that I want to go back and experience my life how it was before I left. The only thing I really miss about home is my family.
Remember, she would do that to me, and I would say, "You can do it, you can do it." And then
My relationship with my mom is really complicated, and I think that's why I get emotional when I'm talking about my mom, because when I was born and when I was really young, my dad was in the military. He was sometimes, not even with us. He was in the Philippines or something. And with my dad not being around as much, it was easier to fight with my mom and sort of resent my mom for little things. And I think that because I had that feeling of us growing up together, I also took for granted our relationship a lot. I didn't feel like I needed to reassure her that we were close because it was really obvious to me. But my mom is very sensitive and she loves me a lot. And I think that she's always worried that she was not a good mom because she was young and making mistakes. But I think maybe every mom feels that in some way. I miss them a lot. I think especially at times in when you get sick, like you miss your mom. You you miss having someone that just is gonna put everything down and want to take care of you. Finding that space for where I'm supposed to be is sometimes difficult. And usually you don't see this much sky in Seoul. So I usually think about how the sky is small here. look out at the city, I feel like, wow, there's so many people here. So many people living life. Why are you shedding so much? Oh my gosh. I'm already covered in fur. I told you that this would happen. Well, I wanted a cat for a long time because I had been living by myself in Seoul and it's kind of lonely. Anyone who moved to a new country and didn't have their family around and was trying to like make new friends, they would have that experience of feeling lonely. And I would often complain about feeling lonely to my friends or my band members, and I remember when I was talking about how I felt lonely, the bassist of my band, she was saying, we all feel that way. Even Korean people, even people who are living here and have lived here their whole lives and they're not a foreigner and they don't have the specific, struggle that you're having, we're all feeling lonely. And I realized that was right. Everyone feels lonely because a lot of people are bad at expressing how they feel to each other. A lot of us just kind of take it for granted or keep it inside, and people don't realize how loved they are or how many people care about them.
When's your birthday?
June 8th.
6/8.
When's yours?
Mine's 1/3. So, 14. Right?
1, 4.
5. 1 plus 4 is 5. So
You're
1
4?
plus 1/3.
Why would it be 5?
So your birthday is.
Yeah, then
That
it'll be
will
locked.
become the password.
Yes. And then you're supposed to like scrub it, right? Is that what people call it?
Scrub?
Like erase it, you're supposed to like...
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh. No, you can never unfriend me. Never. I encourage all their intrusive thoughts. I had grown up being very self-conscious and very not taking opportunities, not putting myself out there, not going for the audition, being so scared of rejection that I didn't even want to try. And I felt like I had wasted so much time doing that. And so then when I was doing this, I felt like I'm young, I'm only going to be young once in my life. I should say yes to everything, because if it doesn't work, who cares? So I am currently working on my first solo EP. It's 5 songs. My mind goes back to like dark moments of my life. My mind goes back to those moments over and over, and a lot of times that's what I end up doing in my songs, is trying to transform those moments so that they aren't painful anymore, and I've made a new story out of them, and then they become something positive, because then they're a song that people are connecting with and enjoying, and so then it's not a painful memory that I have to go back to anymore. This version is just made with like loops and beats that I put together, so my producer hasn't touched this yet. This is my initial demo without any producing.
I really like it. I think I like it even more than the produced.
So I should be a producer, is what you're saying? No, I don't think so. It's really...
This song kind of reminds me of Running Up That Hill. Running up the hill.
In what way?
I think like the 80s production.
Like the beat
Yeah.
or the.
And I can just imagine, can't you imagine somebody like getting caught by Vecna and like turning on this song and running?
That's the goal, I guess.
Yeah, I really like this song.
제일 최근 헤이즈 앨범이고요. 여기는 스텔라장. 아, 이건 그냥 코드 쿤스트라는 프로듀서가 선물로 줬던. 이거는 그지? 여기를 이거 컴프레스.
이거 그냥 몰라.
여기 C?
인스트루먼트?
아, 여기가 오케이.
이 노래가
어.
토네이도 알지?
응?
토네이도.
응.
그런 것에 대한 가사인데.
토네이도,
그래서
예.
뭔가 이거 약간 그런 느낌이잖아.
아, 저기.
아.
저희가 만족하지 않으면 누구도 좋아할 수 없다고 생각해서 뭔가 지금은 맞춰가는 그 대중들의 귀를 맞춰가는 시기라기보다 일단 저희가 만족하는 앨범들을 내고 그 뒤에 뭔가 타협할 수 있는 걸 찾고 그 뒤에 그거에 대해서 좀 계획을 해보면 좋지 않을까.
Well, like the name of the song is Tornado Country.
Yeah.
And America is like the #1 place for tornadoes in the world.
Oh.
And also where I come from, it's close to where there's a lot of tornadoes. And I remember when I was young, we would have to go hide in the basement of the school, like when there was a tornado going on. And I remember like my dad was working at that time, and he was in the area that supposedly the tornado was supposed to be. And I remember being really
Oh my god.
worried about that. And then, yeah, so it's kind of about coming from there and coming here and then thinking about if you go home, what if everything's different? Or what if everything's the same? And which one is worse?
Oh, right.
I remember when I wrote this song, I think I wrote it thinking about my mom. When I first came back from being in Korea for a while, and at that time I was really weird about physical affection. I didn't like to be hugged for a long time, and I remember she hugged me and I kind of like pushed her away. I was like, okay, that's enough. And I think she just like broke down. She was so sad. She was just felt like we didn't have the relationship that she wanted. She couldn't feel how much I loved her, and that really hurt me because I was just like, this is supposed to be obvious, you know? This is supposed to be the most obvious relationship, and you can't feel from me that I love you, and that's so sad. That's so heartbreaking. So I felt really guilty. Sorry. Everyone needs to feel that they're loved, and if people don't feel that from me, then that's that's like something I'm lacking and something that I'm not giving to people. You don't know how unloved they might feel. They might not be expressing that, how lonely they are or how much they need that from you. loneliness is something that you ever get rid of out of your life. And I think loneliness stems from feeling misunderstood or feeling different. It's helpful sometimes to realize that everyone feels lonely sometimes. And you can feel a little bit less lonely if you think about that. My hopes and dream for the song, I guess, are just that people listen to it and enjoy it. Even if you don't personally connect with that story, I still think it'll be a song that people can listen to and enjoy. And I think there are a lot of people who will connect with the message of the song, because a lot of people end up leaving home for whatever reason and then look back on it, I guess.